All right, are you ready? We're going to start chapter 2 with some videos for section 2.1, adding and subtracting polynomials. If you're familiar with algebra tiles, I will let you go through the exploration with the algebra tiles. And I'm going to jump into the second page of the notes where we're going to talk about some vocabulary. So, first thing I want to do is talk about what it means to be a monomial. So a monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number and one or more variables. So an example of a monomial would be something like 6/5 x to the third y to the second. We have 6/5 times x to a power, y to a power. But there's no adding or subtracting involved here. It's just product of a number and one or more variables to a power. The degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables in the monomial. So for this one, for this example that I have right here, the degree of that monomial would be 2 plus 3. It's the sum of the exponents, so that degree would be 5. All right, the degree of a non-zero constant is 0. So we're going to look at these in the table. So notice what we have. We have a monomial right here. The degree of that monomial is 0 because it's a non-zero constant. Think of it as being like 10 times x to the 0. Second one, the degree is 1 because 3x is 3x to the first power. The degree of this one is 3 because 1 plus 2 is 3. We're just adding the powers, the exponents. And finally, this one right here, the degree is 5 because the exponent is 5. And there's only one variable. So some examples or non-examples, things that are not monomials. So right here we have a sum, which means it is not a monomial. Remember, a monomial is a product of a number and variables, a variable or variables, okay, but not a sum. This one's not a monomial because we can't have a variable in the denominator. That goes along with this one right here where we can't have a negative exponent because negative exponents, well, we can't have negative exponents on a variable, I should say. Those exponents on the variables have to be whole numbers. Things like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So no fractional exponents, no negative exponents on the variables. Okay. Those are the powers on the variables. We can't have a variable as an exponent. So things like 2 to the x power are not monomials. Okay. Things like x to the 1/2 power, not a monomial. All right, we're going to do a couple of examples. We're going to find the degree of each of these. So for this one, it is a monomial. The degree is 2. For part B, because that's a first power and a third power, 1 plus 3 is 4. The degree of that monomial is going to be 4. For part C, notice we've got 8 times x to an exponent times y to an exponent, so it is a monomial. And the degree of that is going to be 3 plus 3, which is 6. Part D, it is a non-zero constant. Notice that's a number that doesn't involve a multiplication with a variable. And the degree of a non-zero constant is 0. Okay, and that's the first page.